Hello everyone, I want to build a YouTube channel that talks about contemporary art, at the same time practice my English. I hope that one day I can write my own speeches and through this channel learn more about contemporary art. I want to start my YouTube channel by this video. What if everything around us, this mug, your phone, the concrete beneath our feet, even the air, isn't just background noises? What if it's alive with its own story, forces and power to shape reality? For centuries, Western thought places us humans as the stars of the show, conscious subjects acting upon a passive world of objects. But a radical shift is happening. Welcome to a world where things talk back. This is the intersection of object-oriented art and the philosophy of new materialism. It's more than an art style. It's a complete recalibration of how we perceive our place in a universe teeming with active, vibrant matter. Let's start with the philosophy, because to understand the art, we need the toolkit. New materialism dismantles the old human-centric hierarchy. Thinkers like Jane Bennett argue in her book, Vibrant Matter, that all material from an oyster to a plastic bag to an electron possesses a certain agency, a capacity to affect the world. It's not about consciousness, but about force and effect. A blackout, for example, isn't just human error, it's an assemblage of failing wires, fossilized energy, electromagnetic currents, and economic policy all acting together. Similarly, Bruno Latour's actor network theory proposes that reality is built from networks where humans and non-humans are equal actants. A scientist's discovery relies on the agency of bacteria, microscopes, and lab reports just as much as on her intellect. This philosophy asks, what if objects have their own hidden realities, their own lives that withdraw from our full understanding, and how can art make us feel like? Art has long been a testing ground for the life of things. We can trace a lineage. First, the seismic shock of Marcel Duchamp's ready-made By placing an urinal in a gallery, he asked us to see an object's context over its function. But was the urinal an active participant or just a passive pawn in a conceptual game? Then, movements like arte povera and process art in the 60s and 70s brought raw materiality to the forefront. Artists like Giuseppe Pinoni used trees and Eva Hesse used latex and fiberglass. Their works changed, saged, and aged. The material's own behavior, its process of decay or transformation, became the art. The object was no longer a static symbol. It was a partner with its own physical logic and timeline. This brings us to contemporary artists who fully embrace matter as a collaborator. Let's look at a few profound examples. First, Anselm Kiefer. He doesn't just depict history, he embeds it in volatile, agential materials, lead, ash, clay, dried sunflowers. His monumental work are not finished paintings. They are fields of ongoing chemical and physical reaction. They oxidize, crack, and decay in real time. In a piece like The Orders of the Night, the sunflowers aren't mere symbols of life. They are physical remnants that continue to transform, making the weight and erosion of history itself palpable. The artwork is an active, material witness. Second, Feaster Gates. He works with what we might call social material. For his Dorchester projects, he salvaged materials from Chicago's declining South Side, marble from a bank, firehouse, parquet flowing. Gates doesn't just recycle, he reactivates their buried social energy. The marble isn't just stone, it carries the history of financial power and exclusion. The fire hose is a chilling conduit of civil rights history. He treats these objects as an vessels of communal memory, giving them new agency as anchors for social and architectural revival. Third, the Pierre Huyghe, who creates speculative ecosystems. In a famous exhibition, he presented an environment with a sculpture inhabited by a live bee colony, bacteria cultures in agar, and even a dog with a pink painted leg. The artwork had no single fixed state. It changed hourly based on weather, insect activity, and animal behavior. Here, creative agency is radically distributed. The artist sets the initial conditions, but the work is made by some pheromones, instinct, and decay. It's a living model of art as an entangled, more than human network. This thinking extends to the frontiers of bioart and digitality, and artists like Anna Damitrou works with bacteria and DNA, stitching with thread dyed by Staphylococcus. She makes the invisible agents of pandemic and evolution tangible in the digital realm. What is the materiality of data? Artists like Rafik Anadol use vast data sets as a material to train AI, generating fluid architectures. The digital object here has agency in how it learns patterns and hallucinates forms beyond its original code. Now, why does this matter right now beyond the gallery's walls? First, and most urgently, for the ecological crisis, new materialism forces us to see nature not as a passive resource to be managed, but as a countless multitude of active, responsive forces. Art that highlights this vibrancy fosters an ethics of entanglement. If a river, a forest, or a climate pattern has agency, then exploitation becomes a violent negotiation with another actant, not just extraction from an inert stockpile. Second, for understanding our age of AI and hyperobjects, philosopher Timothy Morton calls climate change a hyperobject, so vast in time and space we can only perceive its traces. New materialism gives us the conceptual tools to grapple with these non-human scales of force. Similarly, how do we relate to the agential network of algorithms that shape our politics, our economies, and our very desires. Ultimately, this art and philosophy instills a new humanity. It dethrones the human from the center of the universe. We are not solitary masters of a dead world, but not in a dynamic web of reciprocal forces, some living, some technological, some geological. We are surrounded by countless other centers of action and existence. So I invite you to try a new materialist gaze. Look at the object closest to you. Trace its threads at the ancient forces that formed its materials, the human and mechanical labor that assembled it, the economic current that delivered it. The future it will have earned as waste or artifact long after you are gone. It is not just a thing, it is a story, a convergence of histories, and an actor in your life. Art guided by this thinking doesn't give us easy answers. Instead, it trains our sensitivity. It tunes our perception to the whispers of things, the hum of matter, and help us hear our own voice as part of that much larger, vibrant chorus.